What's happening, everybody?
Yo, happy Friday.
What's going on, guys? It's Rolling Thunder episode 69. I hope everyone enjoyed the thumbnail with us upside down in it. But we got our buddy Alan Palmer with us, officially Galeforce Audio. We're heading on a special guest tonight. We talked about a few things. He's been a homie for quite a while, and obviously had his foot in the door of car audio and among the industry in quite some time. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Doing pretty good. Let's see if we can turn him up a little bit, or the music down, or might you want to get I don't know if you have your mic closer or anything.
Yeah, probably.
No, yeah.
We can turn his gain up
a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna crank your gain up a little bit, dude. We got this. Andy, I actually was giving me a hard time sharing the thing, so I forwarded you over all this stuff. But we're going to kick this thing off. But dude, thank goodness it's Friday, everybody. Man, I hope you guys. I've had a freaking long week.
Yeah.
Always busy, always car audio, but you know, at the end of the day, it's worth it, man. It's worth it. I love what I do. I know you guys do too.
I went back and watched that. I mean, I can't believe I missed a super good episode of The Kicker this week, man. Of the whatever 100th episode or whatever it was. That was awesome. Actually, I went back and watched it. Even your live stream afterwards was sick.
Yeah, the Master Tech Expo, and then the after show was lit. Always.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people here tonight. But yeah, we'll go and kick this thing off though, man. So Alan, I've known you, I guess personally, about 2 years. I mean, I think I met you before Slam last year. Was it Excess Power 2 years ago, something like that?
Yeah, it's been a couple years.
Something like that. So you were with another company, and then, but we'll get into that in a minute, a little while, that you had quite a history in audio. But you kicked off your own brand. What's it about? Galeforce Audio. It's got some premium drivers out there, and I think you guys are making some noise pretty quick. You got that badass boat behind you already. I think it's making appearances on the water already.
Yeah. We've been a nuisance on the water here in Sarasota quite a few times already. But yeah, it's we started as just a marine power sport speaker is our flagship product, and we didn't want to just do something cookie cutter and off the shelf, and we wanted to really go loud, premium, and do it for a good price. But more than that, it was the reason we became friends, and why I feel like Joe and I are good friends. We want to offer the service and that community connection that I enjoy so much.
Oh yeah, I can agree on that, man. When I took the other thing, which yeah, dude, we go into dude, you came out here and stayed with us for a while, brought us a prototype driver, hung out, shit. We put you to work at the show and all that stuff too.
Yeah,
had a damn good time, hung out.
Oh, I like that. Check that out.
The cool thing on these is, and we're talking about a little bit before the show, is A, you'll see they're bi-ampable, and then B, I think these are going to be a whole hidden gem. I know that you guys are primarily focused. I mean, obviously it's for water, PWC and boats and stuff. But loud pack guys, door setups, motorcycles that want to be have full range sound. I think there's a whole tack market that I've and it's a snazzy finish, man. I love the Galeforce text in this round.
Yep, the black finish on the horn to really meld it in there, which the prototype you've got was that aluminum brushed finish on the horn.
Which I like them both. And that's one thing I can say is an improvement as the prototype I have after I watched the product breakdown was this horn unscrews so you can do a drop-in recon kit, correct?
Yep.
So again, it's a 6.5 and an 8 that offers an OEM direct drop-in recon kit.
Yeah.
So
wow.
I don't know many 6.5s and 8s out there that are I wouldn't say a coaxial driver or a Hornet driver, but a 6.5 or 8 period that's a full range driver that offers a drop-in recon kit, and it's not a pro driver at that.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we're stepping up, and actually had quite a conversation with some other folks that we've been working with as far as sales and everything else. About warranty and everything, which goes back to the whole, our customer service and everything else. Obviously, out of the box, it's 100% covered if something's wrong. But with those recons, for the first year, we're going to be doing labor for free. So if you blow up your speaker, you'll ship it to us, pay for the parts for the recon, and we'll fix it and get it sent right back. So
and that's super fair. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we know people are going to be pushing these things to the limit, because pretty much all of our pre-orders so far have been competitors and been folks doing crazy big bike builds, and there's been a few stunt walls and stuff, people that are trying to really go bananas with these things, and we know.
Well, the cool thing that people aren't even really talking about with it, or even as my first thought also is A, that you're providing the product support. And B, you're not just shipping the guy a recon kit and saying have at it, learn how to do it or anything like that.
Yeah.
But C, it also gives you as the manufacturer to be able to see what's commonly failing and things along those lines to further improve the product, which again is just a whole more customer service in a nutshell, I feel like.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a little cheaper to, pay for a new recon and for you guys to fix it than a whole new driver, it's just...
Big time. Especially because these are premium. I mean,
Speaking of premium, the freaking Neo booty, just everyone, I'm not even
it's
bullshitting
so
you.
nice, dude.
I'm not even exaggerating.
I love
And again, we had Rob here is a good example. Where'd he go? Boom. He's like, I saw the prototype. It was awesome. I have a shelf set up with, I'm kind of copying, I'm molding as much stuff as I can like I do for John at Sky High as how they do their process. So I have a whole rack of accessories and battery terminal and stuff like that. And I only have that one, so because it looks cool, I just have it sitting out on the shelf all the time. And it's like, more times than not, when people come up to that shelf, they pick up the Galeforce audio driver and they're like, "This is sick" and all that stuff. And especially again, I like the finish. The cone looks dope. Can you explain to us how it works to put the horn through the pole piece in the driver, if you don't mind? That's something I'm curious about.
Honestly, I am definitely not an engineer, and I could not tell you what sort of black magic they do over there. But
they did a good job.
They did a great job, and we've torture tested them. We've had prototypes in the boat since we got them 8 months ago, I think.
Sure, it's been going. I know you've been working on it for pretty much a year now.
It's almost a year and a half.
Oh wow.
Of back and forth and
sure.
Talking, and then a year seriously of getting the first prototypes and then continuing on. But yeah, we went with the biampable design so you can really get the most out of them. Yeah.
Here's an easy question: how much power do they need, and how much power can they take?
A lot.
A lot. Need not a lot. They're honestly very efficient. We've had them on like a 150 watt by 4 amp, and the horn absolutely screams. The woofer. I would definitely say, bandpass it, because you throw a massive Neo motor on a lightweight, that glass fiber cone. It'll get harsh if you don't bandpass it, or if you just send a ton of power to it. But,
right. But to be loud outside,
horn, you have to have it.
Yeah.
Realistically, 100, 150 on the woofer and 50 watts on the horn, you will be louder than most people. We've currently got about 400 on the woofer and 150 on the horn in our boat.
Nice.
And you can pick up and know exactly what song is going on about a mile away with the 4/8.
I believe it. I know. I see those on motorcycles, marine. Kicker guy here. They got some pretty cool stuff too.
Yeah,
and I know I've seen some questions here. People were asking mounting depth because they want to know, can they put this in their car?
Yes, you can put it in your car. No, you cannot put it in the stock location.
Might hit the window a little bit.
Yeah. If you had like the custom speaker pods or something like that too, they would more than likely work.
Yeah, the 6.5s are about 4 3/4 deep. A little bit less than that, but right about there. The 8s are 5 inches. I say give it 5 1/4, because you do have your terminals coming off the back. So just give yourself the room. But
I might go do that tomorrow just for a peek, because I have those deep custom speaker pod ones, like the common ones they sell now. I'm gonna go see if I can pop the Galeforce in the driver into the.
Well, and I went and grabbed one of the boxes. So the boxes actually have, in millimeters and inches, exact measurements of everything you could possibly want there.
Hey, Melissa.
Nice.
Melissa. Melissa's just saying 5 inches. I don't know if she's talking about speakers or.
Yeah, I was gonna make an innuendo, but I didn't want to take. But no, I like on it though. Even the 6.5 though, man, has a frequency response down to 80 hertz, man. So like with a, dude, you can that's for a 6.5. That's playing pretty dang low.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, they the mid bass has been impressive. Every time I crank them up, it is genuinely impressive on how deep they actually will play. And then the horn just gets up and covers all the vocal and cleans it all up. But that was one of the other parts of actually running with the rubber surrounds. You know, not only is it better for the environmental stuff you're going to run into on boats and motorcycles, but it actually digs down and gives all that mid bass that you're looking for in a bagger or something.
Oh, sure.
Right.
I like about it too, man. And a lot of people have a misconception, especially when it comes to like frequency response on mid bass. You know, it is saying that it's a frequency response of 80 to 20,000 hertz. It plays lower than 80 hertz. It's just obviously with a crossover slope. So like, you know, especially if you're using multiple of them or it's paired with a subwoofer, like you noticing the bass out of it.
Yeah.
Because like most 6.5s, I feel like, I mean, I could be speaking on my butt right now, but me doing installs, I'm usually crossing over most 6.5s, especially like a coaxial or like a two-way, like 150 to 250, depending on what it is when I'm sending power on it. And like, obviously, you're still hearing the lower notes out of the thing, but it's not the same with a higher slope.
Yeah, your bass in the rear end really makes that front end bass fill. You know, like you just cross at 200, and then if your sub can play up, you know, past 100, you know, it'll fill in the gaps. You know, and honestly, with the music that we listen to, with the rebass stuff, a lot of it's not even there. A lot of it's not even there, and it's just all 40 hertz, and you know, it skips to about 500. You know,
and I don't want to sound silly, and I'm not saying that this is a SQ driver, but being dead serious, so that when you get into an SQ car, that's a lot of times what's going to be noticing you as the biggest soundstage difference is having the bass coming out of the front also. So like, So when you hear an SQ car, you're like, oh wow, I can't believe I hear the impact, you know, from the drum or the beat or whatever being in the front corner of a vehicle. Not the bass coming from behind you is the biggest thing we know is different. So again, this is meant for a boat, but again, you know, being able to play down that low, I'm sure we can get it. Now, I'm curious about like the horn and like the, I guess like what is it called, like diffraction or whatever it is, like the dispersion inside of a vehicle. So again, like you probably have to be playing with some, you're running with some like some proper speaker alignment so they can know that way you're not like beaming or anything.
That actually is one of the other things that we'll be bringing up. As far as the specifications, all the information that you get when you buy a speaker, that's something that we're trying to step up. We will have the phase difference between the horn and the woofer, like that information will be available. You'll be able to genuinely dial these in and get the absolute most out of them that you can, if that's what you want. But yeah, you're very right that as far as having them in a vehicle, I wouldn't want to, just because of how loud they are. But,
too harsh.
Oh, in an enclosed vehicle right next to you, it gets ridiculous.
Sure.
That being
That's what a lot of people don't realize, especially with efficient drivers or the horn stuff like that. I'll give a great example. Like I have a pair of Klipsch 5 1/4 reference monitors right on both sides of me here. Me in this room, those two pair of 5 1/4 drivers is more than plenty me comfortable loud listening to. And I had, you know, like I had 160 dB vehicle. Like I can make my ears ring with these and like no problem. Sounds great. Like you put something like that that's meant to be blasting into a lake in your door. You better be prepared to do some door battles, okay? That's
big time.
Sounds like us car audio guys have it easy, huh?
Sure.
It's funny because I was talking with Sam Golfus, the guy with the 16 ZV6 12s in his Tahoe.
That's it. I'm putting him in my doors. You talk Joe into it, saying it'd be too loud.
Joe doesn't mind. He's got earplugs anyway. You know?
No, he definitely does it right. But I was telling Sam, like, I know you've got 16 ZV6 12s on 8 8Ks in your Tahoe. You don't need 8 of these in each of your doors. You can do 4 of these 8s because you're talking about 4 woofers and 4 horns. It'll keep up with your bass. I can guarantee it because, you know, I've heard them.
Oh, for sure. And I wish we had some videos that would actually do justice of like of it playing on the lake. Like a lot of people don't realize too, man, and it's just like car audio. You'll hear a lot of boats like blasting by and stuff like that. All the time they sound like shit. Okay, you're like,
Yeah.
it's just like hearing the guy's raggedy system at full volume at the stoplight next to you. You know, the same thing with the boats. Be able to get good sound out of a boat is not the easiest thing, especially full range sound. I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
That low end, it just, you know, that
Not there.
motorcycles
Yeah.
open end, you know, it's just, it's near impossible. But if you're in the boat and then you have the kind of drivers that you have that will play down and you got enough of them, you know, and you're playing within reason, you can get a nice sound out of it, and decent low end, you know, more than you would expect being wide open, you know.
There we go. Rob says we're gonna do a stunt wall in the
Stunt
back
wall
of
of
his
Yukon.
Yukon.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or just stunt wall it and just, you know.
Yeah,
That's it.
no, it's funny because I was out talking. I actually had someone local that came and picked up some speakers today, and as I'm walking around, I heard someone jamming. There's just a small little shop out of like a warehouse type thing about half a mile from my house. So I hear that, and I jump on my bike and just zip down there, and it's a guy that he had 16 10s and then 4 12s in each of his back doors. So 16 10s and like, I don't know, 12 horns in a stunt wall, and then the 4 12s in each door with a couple more horns. And
Too much.
It was loud, yeah.
it's ridiculous. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's insanely loud. But I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm like, I've heard what 2 of these, you know, the Galeforce, the F3s can do, 2 of the 8s on 250 RMS, and I've actually heard them on full range crossovers, and I've heard them on high pass and everything else. So I've heard what they can do, and I'm like, if I had 30 of them, like this guy, it wouldn't even be a competition.
Oh, sure.
And
Right.
you know, they were the top of the line PRV and stuff, and you know, not talking bad about PRV because
No, sure. It's not the same thing.
Never,
It
never,
sounded
no.
good. Good. It needed a lot of work on the harshness and whatnot, but
They don't care. As long as it's loud and,
Yeah.
you know.
They'll have 6 EQ stacked. and,
3, but yeah,
3, sure. And normally
And,
and they're making adjustments by the song on the fly.
Yep.
And
You have
Terrams
to,
8K
yeah.
and a couple Terrams 3Ks, and you know,
And I'm not even bashing it down or whatever, but it's like, wait till these guys finally catch on to like what like 2 or 3 DSPs would do in a laptop. And
Yeah.
you won't have to make no more shit on the fly. You'll just be turning
Yeah.
your phone volume up and down or whatever. Because again, they're usually using a USB or whatever too, just like we are. So like, so there's no reason to even have the source there. It's just your volume knob then. But,
Right. Have you ever been to Slamology, Alan?
I have.
Okay,
and,
so you know all about it then.
I do.
The loudest
I do.
of the loud stunt
So you
walls.
can-
Just
I'm in Florida. We are stunt
Oh, that's
walls.
even worse.
It's horrific. It is absolutely horrific. But it's a big part of the industry, and it's something that, while it's not my taste, I love seeing it because
they put love into it. They put hard work.
seeing it, but
There's a lot
not
of
hearing it. Sing.
there are some stunt walls that I'm blown away by, and I love
Yep.
them. And they're
agree.
usually the ones where they've got 418s in a clamshell, and they're that just crazy mid bass, and you can stand way back and feel the mid bass.
The Orion build at Slam was pretty nice. That big stunt wall with all the Orion
Yeah.
subs in there
Yeah,
and
that
everything.
was
That
pretty
was
decent.
clean. That
Yeah.
was
I like
clean.
it when they use the vehicle as the subwoofer enclosure pretty much, and then they have the loud pack in the back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, Hank's Infinite Baffle, that insane thing.
The van
He
thing,
did-
yeah.
yeah.
14
whatever he
hertz for
did.
the win.
Yeah, you know, whatever it is, like getting that sort of projection out of bass and mid bass, that's what's fun to me. But
Or
as long as
Atlanta,
it's
dude,
clear
Atlanta.
and sounds good and isn't harsh, I'm fine with it.
Dude, everybody and their mom with a pickup truck has a stunt wall that's
Yeah.
up to the height of the tailgate lid now in Atlanta.
Yep. It's, well, sorry, because it started in Florida and we sent it straight
Oh, I
on
believe
up to
it. It
you
went
guys.
straight up north.
Oh, man.
Them boys.
It's-
Ooh, everyone with a 96 to 06 Silverado F-150 with wheels on it. You're gonna open the tailgate. It's gonna have a spray painted close to the color of the vehicle box.
DeMario's one of them.
I believe it. There
He's
you go.
over in
Oh,
Texas,
shit.
but
No, I'm sorry.
yeah, he's got that stunt wall, and I mean,
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm
good.
talking mad shit. But again, like they became very popular. That I was getting onto.
Stupid.
They're obviously popular for a reason because guys like to be able to open their tailgate down and blast tunes out of it.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Alan, do you have a system in your daily car? Do you do car audio as well, or just?
My truck is currently down for the count.
Ooh.
I've got a wall for 412s, and I've started selling everything.
He also still has quite a bit of collection of products, and we can talk about it too, as far as like
Yeah.
So, how did you get into car audio? You've been affiliated with a couple companies, and like, how'd that go? So now they went from like a side hustle hobby thing, I thought, to a career path.
I was working a full-time job and spending 6 to 8 hours a night after work at a buddy's shop here in Sarasota. Back in 2010, and so 2010 through 2012, 2013, I was traveling Florida, going to all the base race competitions. That was my thing. I competed a lot. I took second in the world my last year in the 29.9 base race class. I loved it, and I got to spend all that time with people in the industry. Got out of it for a while, did a bunch of other things, had a lot of fun doing a bunch of other things. But 4 years ago, I wanted to get out of everything else, get back to car audio. I actually worked at a buddy's shop for a little while as more of a shop rat, but I was great at sales and stuff, so I just kind of took that over for him. Ended up moving into Crescendo. I worked there for a couple of years, year and a half, however long. Left
awesome.
there, had another opportunity, so I left there and doing something else in the meantime. But while I was finishing up there, we kind of started playing around with this idea of an audio company and went for it. Here we are.
It's sick though, man. And I'm probably generally as a friend, like I was considered your friend for a while now. I'm happy to see it grow for you, dude. Like it's the same thing, like with our stuff. Like it went from like, hey, I feel like I want to do this and I'll do what I want to do to be happy and passionate about, and then freaking go with it, dude. And it's like it's super rewarding. And then obviously like the customers make it super worth it. The thing, and I was talking to it with John the other day. What makes it awesome for me to see, and that's why I love like the brick and mortar retail and like close by sales part of it so much, is especially when it's a younger customer, like is when they buy stuff from me and they're a base head guy already. And they buy this stuff from me, and then they're like, "Hey, man, let me come by." And then like they want to show me their system, like, "Hey, look what I learned and what I did with the stuff that I got from you." And it's like, it's super rewarding for me to see what people do with the product that I get to them. And then also from the manufacturer side, it's got to be super rewarding also to see the cool stuff people do with it.
100%. DeMario's one of them. He's building a bike, 4 6.5s and 2 8s. We got Hefe's Custom Cycles up in Ohio, which. If you know Hefe, he builds some crazy shit. He's doing 4 8s and 2 6.5s in a bike. I can't wait. I'm blown away by the support that I've gotten and everything else with this startup. But
I'll toot my horn right now. I will pat myself on the back. I told you when we started this, I was like, Alan, you have a good name for yourself in the car audio industry. I did fucking say that, and I'm happy that
you did. You and Joe have been awesome proponents of me, and Melissa has been wonderful.
She's the number one killer, dude.
Oh, she's phenomenal. She's definitely number one. If you like to compete, hit up Base Wars, get in the lanes, because that's where it's at for sure.
But no, that's what I knew, for sure, man, is like when you have a good name for yourself and you're reputable and they know you work hard and you're passionate about it, like dude, you're not going to have to be that no-name company that people are like, oh, I need a discount on this shit. They're going to give all your stuff away because, like nobody knows who it is. You want the exposure. Like you'll immediately have people, wanting to support the brand and buying product. You're going to have a shortage of product way too fast. So like, you might as well buy them fits now while they're available, guys. I think they just got a shipment in. So like, I'm probably making your orders like tomorrow.
That's awesome though that you're making products pretty much from the ground up, and I'm guessing you have a whole team of engineers, pretty much, and.
Kind of.
You got some connections in the manufacturer side of the industry for some time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've actually got some people that are very well known in the industry that have tagged in and said, once I'm ready for certain things, that they're going to jump in and help design things for me from the ground up. We've got some really cool stuff coming in that aspect. and it's been a lot of me, China, obviously working with my factory and making sure that everything is up to par, you know, at the level that I want it at, and they're doing a great job. And then once stuff is here, testing it appropriately, you know, not just, oh yeah,
Sure.
it sounds good. You know, I've sent speakers to guys that pull the parameters and they're getting the
Accurate
phase
measurement of
alignment
everything.
and you know they're testing all of the power and crossovers and really putting these speakers through their tests, you know, to make
That's awesome.
sure that we're
Yeah.
we're that next level.
And that's one thing too that I think you and I can both agree on too. And I don't think we've even talked about it before is, you know, like again, it goes back to like one door closed and another one opens. Like a lot of the business decisions we do now are you know, connections for vendors or, you know, own brand products. That's like connections that I made that were good connections through me from previous companies I was with and stuff like that. And like they didn't really deal with the other company. They dealt with me. You know what I mean? So it was like you get a good team of people behind you and they, you know, like are wanting to see you be successful and like, dude, it's freaking it's gonna take off.
No, super lucky to know the people I know and to have the relationships that I have, and I'm just excited because it's going to be awesome for everyone. I can't wait.
So
I think we'll see a lot. I want to see. We're for sure someone's going to do it by then. I want to see like at least 2 or 3 Galeforce stunt walls, door setups at freaking Slamology this year. They got quite a few months left to change some 6.5 to some 8s. I think that should definitely be able to be something to do.
I've already been chatting with Denise. We'll have a booth at Slam.
Oh,
and
sweet.
There's a couple of folks that are going to be there, and they'll be in the booth, and
Great.
we'll leave it there. But it's gonna be. I can't wait.
Oh, it's gonna be sick.
I was gonna say Galeforce, Southern Thunder, it's gonna happen.
We probably make it happen too. I mean, again,
I believe so. Which I've got not a ton. I basically what happened with this air freight that we just got in today. I had talked with a bunch of people and basically
the page
said
loading or no? It's
end
not
of
working.
January.
Not yet.
End of January, we'll have products. COVID, everything else, it set us back a couple weeks.
Oh, I know.
That's not my cup of tea. So I said we're gonna air freight them. So send me enough to cover all the pre-orders where we told them it'll be January, and we got those in. I've already got labels on all of them. They'll go out tomorrow.
And that's one
Nice.
thing too. Definitely in the future.
So you're just starting up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
as
awesome.
far as actually selling products, yeah.
Right,
This
right.
is it.
At this time, I would say definitely go. I mean, I'm sure I know you already have a couple people. I think that you have this dealer set up, or maybe or not. But I recommend going straight to the source on this one for a little while until it gets a little more set up. Because again, customer direct is where the most profits made. I want to see them be able to buy more product, not me make
Definitely, yeah. I
$10
mean,
on it so I can sell speaker.
I'm, dealers. I've been on all sides of it. I've seen all sides of it. So I know that if a dealer gets a product and they pay $250 for it, they're not going to sell it for $260. They're not going to buy it.
Sure.
So, when we sell to dealers, we're not doing great, but we're doing enough to keep moving forward. But
Sure.
dealers are going to be making money. So,
But again,
yeah,
as the company grows, your inventory grows, and all that stuff, the things change.
100%, yeah.
Sure.
Which we've got 7 or 8 prototypes on the way too.
Yeah.
It's going to expand pretty quick. But yeah, dealers are going to be big proponents of our brand because we're going to take care of dealers. But
Yeah.
Sure. And
at
I'm
the
sure
same
that,
time, direct, like everyone that orders anything is going to get the shirts and the floating keychains, and we're not doing plain t-shirts. Like we've got the Sport Tech like long sleeve fishing shirts that are breathable, and the logos aren't all over the place. It's a logo on the back. It's just a nice shirt.
the way I look at it, especially as a distributor or a dealer of other brands, is it's 2023. They can't expect to have exclusivity as a certain retailer to have. I'm the only place you can get this.
Yeah.
As long as we have a zero tolerance map policy to where no matter, you're just going to whichever person you want to spend your money with,
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine. I don't care if SoundCube, Trinity, you can go straight direct and buy all of that crap. Direct, but again, it's who they want to spend the money with. So again, like as long as you have people representing you, and the way we look at it, most things is it's zero tolerance. Is if they get caught online in a non-approved sale for a lower price, you're literally just cut off. It's done. I don't want you representing us anymore. There's not even going to be a slap on the wrist. Like you're just straight up donezo.
Yeah, and that was being on the brand side of the industry for a while. There are a ton of brick and mortars even and the online stores where they're doing blowouts and they're just trying to sell as many as they can and there's no backing behind the brand.
Sure. And just devalued it.
Yeah, and that's not what we want, because they might buy it for cheaper and they're happier because instead of $240 I paid $180. Okay, but now what?
You can correct me if I'm wrong also. And again, I speak for this from my experience too. The majority of brands out there, and again, if you want to do a sale, most brands are, hey, you cannot do a sale unless it's approved and/or a manufacturer sale. 100%. If somebody went to you, and again, let's say you're established, you have plenty of inventory, and they're like, hey, Galeforce, I want to buy 100 of these units or 150 of these units. Do you care if I do a 5% off sale or some dumb shit like that? You're probably not going to tell them no, because again, we've discussed it. You know, okay, you're buying a large thing, you've just got the manufacturer going to do a sale. It's okay. It's the people that, you know, behind closed doors and/or just advertise stuff at a lower price than everybody else.
Yeah, they get away with like the site-wide 15% off everything. Sure. Like, yeah, that sort of thing just diminishes not only your brand but all the brands and the relationship. And you know, people wanting to do sales and stuff, that's cool, but it's one of those things. You work it into the build. You know, you should be going through, especially when you're at this level, you know, either you're a shop or you really know what you're doing, or you're having a shop do it. So, you know, you're going to have that extra service and everything else. And if DeMario is going to build your custom bike with 8 speakers on it, and he wants to give you $20 off a speaker,
that's on him.
That's on him, and that's totally fine. But DeMario would never get online and be like, yo, I'm selling them for cheaper than, you know, you can get them. And,
you know, that's factored in the bill.
It's the same thing with you. Like, I know you would never be like, oh, like, here, I got them, I got you, bro.
But exactly. But again, too, and that's where a lot of brands shoot themselves in the foot, and/or retailers. And again, when they do, it's freaking, you know, it's Easter Day sale. And, you know, every sale of the month, it's Valentine's Day sale the next week after that. Next thing you know, only time customers are going to spend money with you is when it's discounting product. And the next thing you know, the only time you're getting sales at all is when you're discounting product. And the next thing you know, you're not buying, you know, nobody's buying nothing at regular price.
It's definitely not worth diminishing the brand. And, you know, we've got something that is worth every penny. We're not Bema. We don't have 50 years of R&D and this perfect speaker and everything else. But I genuinely think that, you know, you put in the work, you power these right, you get it built well. These things, you know, the bikes that are being built are going to compete with some of these Bema bikes. And our speaker that's comparable to the Bema one is about $200 cheaper.
Oh, sure. And not only that, too, I mean, even when you start comparing them into, like, wet sound and stuff like that, too, it's a very, very affordable product.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. And I definitely think, actually, not to talk trash about wet sounds, but we did a direct swap into their display board. Not even close. Yeah. Not even close. Like, we didn't even hook up the horn. We just had the woofers hooked up, and they crushed the wet sounds coaxials.
Wow.
That's sick.
Now, question: what's the price on the wet sounds? I'm just being devil's advocate here.
I want to say they're
like right
top
now
end 8s, probably $750 to $800 a pair.
And yours are roughly around that.
The 8s are $265 a piece. So
half. So how? If they're double charge, is it the name, or is it geared for a different type of performance?
The name plays a huge part for sure. Wet Sounds took over the marine industry loud. That was their whole thing. The quality and everything, when you look at marine speakers, there's a few brands out there. Obviously, Kicker does great marine speakers. I've been thoroughly impressed, especially with the new stuff. JL is the marine speaker. Wet Sounds is the loudest, but you lose a lot of that mid bass and the good sound and everything else. Wet
Trade-offs
Sounds and
always.
JL,
Yeah.
There's always a trade-off. The JL and the Wet Sound. So if you want that perfect sound, or if you want that super high output, the price point is insane. When you look at Kicker's just kind of a good all-around. The price point's pretty reasonable. Kicker generally does it right, in my opinion.
Yeah. I've never actually got to hear one in person, but just by looking at them and doing, it seems like good stuff.
Heard a ton of them, yeah.
I saw a video where a guy had them in his garage, and I thought it was super cool. Like on the shelf, had them in pods, and I was like, that is a sick idea.
Oh, the new like 11-inch pods from Kicker, they're nasty.
I've heard those in the boom room. Yeah, that one.
No, they are nasty. Fusion, that's another brand where they don't really have the loud stuff, but they're kind of known as a good just replacement. But really, what it comes down to is we got a good price. Like, the quantity and just the relationship that we've built with our factory. Because it's way more than just, we want speakers. Like we've built a genuine relationship, and we're headed to a spot where we both want to grow together and take it up a notch. But with that, we've been able to pass along that price, and we're not trying to make a bunch of money. Like, that's not why we are doing this. My business partner and I, we both have day jobs. I work 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday, and as soon as I get off, I'm Galeforce for the rest of the day.
A lot of people don't realize it starts that way. When I first started Southern Thunder, after I even sold my Snap-on franchise, I worked with my old business partner in the Snap-on warehouse for like the first 6 months of Southern Thunder. Don't get me wrong, I went full-time January 1st of 2021, or 2022, sorry, last year. But before that, there was like 6 months where I was like warehouse help and all that stuff, just to be able to take and make sure I was growing the business, and I'm taking anything at all until we can take and afford to.
Yep. Yeah.
What do you think about
exactly
the Rockford Fosgate?
Rockford, I would probably put them close to Kicker, slightly below. They do have some decent stuff. It's basically just your baseline quality. It's great budget stuff. It's going to be way better than Rockville's or stuff like that. There's some stuff out there that I'm pretty sure you can get 8-inch pod Rockville's for like $150 for a pair, and
DS18
the pods
4,000 watts peak.
Toss the speakers and I mean it's crazy.
The bad part is you and I both can agree. Sadly, more times than not, though, your customers end up being the guys that have bought those and are unsatisfied with the output from them.
Yes.
And then they've double bought shit at that point. It's like
yeah. Well, I've had people with other brands and whatnot. They'll start with DS18, like the low end quality, and then they'll bump up to something else, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, I want like real quality pro audio stuff, and so it's this constant upgrade. I'm hoping for now, these F3s, people aren't going to want to upgrade. They're going to have everything they want and then some. But I went with F3 because that's the Tornado rating scale, the F1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a couple more levels we can go to.
I want 5. No.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, he's like, we're getting there. It's going to be a subwoofer with a coaxial, with a subwoofer with a 2-way built in and the pole on that.
I do have another prototype.
Oh,
which
wow.
You'll notice that's not a coaxial. That's just a mid-range.
So is it called like the Cyclone series or anything, or Tornado?
Just the F3. So Galeforce audio is the whole theme, and for now, the Fs, the Tornado scale is going to be our speaker lines.
Cyclone series, telling you.
when we pick up subwoofers, we will have the hurricane categories.
Okay, okay, there you go.
1 through 5, and then for amps,
5.
We definitely have a lot of thoughts as far as sticking with the storm theme. So you're gonna have your gales, you're gonna have your cyclones, you're gonna have
gale, like a wind gale. I get you. I get you.
Galeforce, which the logo over where my hand would be.
Yeah.
It's like a little hurricane-ish type thing.
I get it.
Is the gist we went for.
When they do,
gale is a nautical storm.
That's pretty cool. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Windy though.
Since you said subwoofers, all I can think about is I want to see somebody do like a '90s mini truck build with like the truck bed of subwoofers in it of Galeforce, like marine grade subwoofers in the bed, and then just pour water on them and shit while they're talking.
All those cool infinite baffle subs, like all the. I've seen plenty of those videos, and it's
and they all
ridiculous.
Go. Every one of them though gets stupid views. Every single one. It'd be like a bunch of Colts or something like that.
Yeah. The Gately Alphas or Rampages, I have not heard them yet. I've seen a lot of them, and they look amazing. Bobby is amazing.
Oh, it's the Alpha and the Relentless.
Relentless. Okay, I've seen he's been releasing all sorts of crazy stuff, and it's all gorgeous. Like he makes some amazing
stuff. Frame subs coming. Okay, so I'm like in a toss up right now. It's like, do I want to do? And Joe brought up the idea to me. I'm walling off that '79 Civic. I can either do. You're good, Bob. It's fine. But I can do 4 8s or like 8 6.5s, and it's like at that point though, do I want to do
8 6.5s?
Yeah. And then so if I do the 6.5s, I could do the Gately Alpha or Relentless or like Sundown SA 6.5s. But at that point, I almost feel like the Alpha or the Relentless is a beefier choice of a subwoofer. So it's like, option.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I mean, I'm a Sundown guy for subs. I love everything they do. Now, I will tell you, as far as kicker goes, I've heard one kicker build that genuinely impressed me, and it was 2010-ish. It was Heim Nair had 2 Solo X18s on a 10K. And a Ford Exploder, and he had an interchangeable port and a flat wall. So he'd burp it at 55, and then he would put in this port that was tuned to like 22, and just break door hinges and just. It was great.
That's great.
I loved it. I honestly, I just loved it.
That's the game plan. Like I had the 60 and all that stuff too. I just want to do a small build on like 1 5K. Yeah, that's considered small power now. But the But I just want to do like either like I said the 4 8s or 8 6.5s, and I'm going to do the '79 Civic, tiny little car, 2 people in it. Like a wall at the B pillar, and do a slot port across the top, right at the top of the seats. Like I just want it to smash 20 hertz and do a hair trick. I don't care about burping numbers, none of that stuff. I just want it to be a little wind pump of hair trick.
Yeah, that sounds pretty wonderful.
It's addicting, Scott. It's addicting.
It really is. And like,
I put a not loud car like the Cookie Monster to enjoy just 20 hertz only.
Yeah.
I'm talking shit. No.
I like wind too, Alan. I like wind too.
I can't like. With the truck being down and I'm riding, I've got a little CBR 300. Like it's my around town bike. I'm loving just cruising around, but I need a cruiser now so that I can do an audio build on it.
Put some speakers on it. I know my Ninja's got nowhere to go.
The minute you said 300, I'm like, you need to get your sister's bike back. No, talking shit. No,
talking smack.
I will tell you, I'm spending about $7 every week and a half to 2 weeks on gas.
It's incredible.
Oh, dude! In all reality, though, you take like a modern 300 or a modern 600 and throw it up to like a 90s or 80s 1200 or even like.
Gets it.
You guys live down south, so you can almost ride your motorcycle almost all year.
Some guys do. And I'll tell you, and even in Georgia, they'll ride them fucker all year. I mean,
here I'm wearing 2 jackets just to ride in January. You guys are out with your t-shirts.
It was 40 last week. It was 40 degrees here.
That's a little cold. Yeah.
For Florida, that is
freezing.
Not acceptable.
No.
So I had my t-shirt, a jacket, like a hoodie, my leather jacket, sweatpants, and jeans, and then
That's
my
the way
long
to go.
fuzzy socks. And that, because I mean, at 5 a.m. it's 40 degrees, and then you're
Oh,
going
yeah.
50 miles an hour. That's, you know.
The only
it's
thing
the
gets
real
cold is
feel
like
of
your
20.
neck, your neck, and like
I
your
had scarves
fingers.
too. Yeah, scarf wrapped around and all that.
I know. I wanted
need
to.
better gloves because
Yeah, you need something that keeps the cold in, or out, should I say,
I
warm
lost
in.
my snow mittens. I had snow mittens from skiing when I was 12, and I don't know where they are. So all I have
Hey.
is my nice breathable motorcycle gloves, and that.
Oh yeah,
doesn't
they
help
keep you
at
nice and
all.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, man! I was gonna do a fourth order and have the seal chamber at the bottom, have the subs inverted, and then like a big freaking view panel acrylic across the front, and then the port like I said all the way across the top.
Yeah, I think honestly, if you can do less ports, it's just easier, less
I mean, GP sent you again.
problems. Yeah, if you
I'll get
can.
in touch, Roger.
So now X8s and a gate link. I bet you it does. It needs more than 2500. Yeah, it needs more than that. We put
Yeah.
4 alphas in a freaking. We put 4 alphas in a Gately perfect fit on Assault 2K, and those 4 alphas laughed at it, bro. Which just sounds amazing. Sounds amazing, but it needs more power. It needs like a 5.
10 years ago versus now, like 2K was, you were like in the lanes putting up numbers.
Subwoofers were significantly more efficient. They had a below a 100 ounce motor on them too, though, and they had 10 millimeters of X-Max each way.
Yeah, it was completely different ball game.
That's why TS parameters on subwoofers today are almost, other than designing enclosures, are almost antiquated because most of the subwoofers you plug it in like WinISD and stuff like that. That doesn't really equate to what would sound good in like a modern 4th order or 6th order. Like it looks like shit because the subwoofer is not efficient or doesn't play the same when you're cramming a crap.
You need a clipple playing it, all kind of power ranges, frequencies, and then trying it in different enclosures and just seeing how it reacts to actually know what'll work, and it just test, and without having a clipple, it helps to have just a meter on hand and a clamp, and you can do some math, but it takes time to actually get maybe the perfect box for what you're trying to do, and it's just time and experience.
800 by 1s, 2 so audio 2 each.
2 of them, so yeah, 900 a piece.
Plenty of power. Yeah, that's what he got.
They're 700 RMS a piece.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean,
match up pretty well.
It would do wood. Yeah, and those amps do more than rated, I'm sure.
That does seem to be the way things go. Everything is gonna outperform what they say it's gonna do, which we're exactly the same. I think I've currently got these F3s at 250 RMS as like the listing, and that's just to hopefully not have a ton of them blown up, because
right.
I know at 250 they'll handle full range. Like,
Sure.
Wow.
Like,
What's it got on it? Like
a
a
bad with crossovers and be fine.
2-inch coil or so?
Yeah. So oh man, you're making me think about the tech specs. I've been over so many sheets, and I've
Probably
got so
close
many speakers
to it.
in my head.
Yeah.
I can't remember if we kept the 1.5-inch coils, or they are. I'm pretty sure they're 2-inch and 1-inch.
That's what I thought, yeah.
We've also got these 10s coming, which I've got the 10-inch coaxial. We had to design a new basket and everything for it. So we've been doing a bunch of tooling.
If it's a 2-inch, it should be able to handle like 500 RMS.
As far as
a
thermal,
lot of power. Yeah.
I mean, coils.
I was going to bring it up. You told me y'all did testing at 500 RMS or close to that.
Not clamping. There's a difference. Unless you're sundown, that underrates the stuff. If you want
to.
Going back to the power thing on the underrating though, I'd like to tell most customers, just like the salt amps, like, hey, this is like the rated power does at 12 volts. Like this is like your worst case scenario out of it. Like you go up to 13, 14, 15 volts, whatever it be, and you're going to see more power out of the amplifier. But again, like I also am a huge proponent on not wiring down and stuff like that now. But
Right.
So,
If you match sundown with sundown, subs and amps, it's not underrated at all. It'll match up kind of perfectly if you run it, because then the subs can take a little bit more. The amps do a little bit more, so it works.
Out of Jacob Fuller's mouth,
now, boss, I don't know. They're just lost.
Any of the sundown ratings of the RMS ratings means like you'll get the pretty much the full performance, like the capabilities out of the driver at that power. So like and not have failures. Like again,
Right.
you take an XP3 and you take 2,000 watts clean RMS power to it. It's going to take that all day and every day. It's like I'm sure the Kicker's the same way. Like in their RMS rating, that thing can sit in a room playing at free air for fucking 5 days. I'm sure, and they've already done that.
Yep. Yeah, because you're never going to see that RMS number clamp continuously. It's going to be all over the place, and even if it's one frequency, it's just it's going to be half the power or 3/4 of that number, and it should be able to handle it within reason.
Thermal limits are just different. Like the thermal limits on coils these days are astronomical. Like it's amazing everything that has gone into the new technology on coils and the adhesives and everything. Yeah, you're able to send a ton of power. It's the mechanical limits that kill most. Benefits of Neo is just going to be the lightweight, keeping it as compact as it is, which in the pro axle two-way monster horn driver in the middle type driver, mounting depth is an issue regardless of what you're putting it in, like even throwing it in bags and everything else. But yeah, you're cutting down on size. Exactly, tomorrow.
And I could also see it being quite funky, making the top and bottom plate for the pole for the mid-bass driver using a ferrite slug also. And then also make it significantly bigger because it has to be the cutout of the inside horn or whatever.
I know. I've heard left and right about Neo versus ferrite, and I've always thought obviously weight and size they're not as wide because
if they can do Neo, it's better.
It's just the efficiency of just how the motor works with the coil. That's what I always heard with Neo, but then come the more in the future hearing other things that you can almost get this type of ferrite building the right kind of coil with the right kind of gap and just working everything. You can make a ferrite motor work just as good as a Neo. Obviously
100%.
weight,
but significantly more size.
Weight and size, and Neo is more expensive because it's just a more rare, harder to mine metal. But there's a lot of properties where it changes. I mean, your impedance rise and everything else that occurs
can change.
There's a lot to it. And
people talk about heat soaking Neo magnets, stuff like that. Dude, especially on a driver like this or a coaxial, you are never, ever, ever going to get that motor to that temperature of diminishing value on the motor.
Yeah, you're...
And people even talk about on subs, like, trust me, if you're going to get that motor hot enough to diminish the magnets for us, you've done fetus, deletus, the coil, everything's gone.
You're kind of moving into the next level.
Sure. I feel like it would take a long time to lose some magnetism, from heat.
Well, we could, and back to Sam's Tahoe, that 1612 ZV6s, 8K, 8Ks, so 4K a piece, and I want to say they were at half ohm. I'm not positive on that, but there was easily 4 or 5K a piece to those subs, and he played it for 14, 15 hours a day at Slam, and you could cook on
just
those
hot.
Subs.
Just
and,
hot.
They never, it was already hot enough at Slam to not need a radiator behind
my
you.
truck was a hair dryer, bro. It was a freaking hair dryer.
That's the thing. You can get motors and coils hot, man. It's just how quick you get them. It's how quick. If it's slow, they'll go forever, man. When I first got the quad box, it was like the first 3-hour drive I had to just base the entire way. And when I got back, it's not like I smelled anything burnt, but it was just hot. It was hot, and I'm like, damn, did I do that? they're good. Yeah. They're good. Yeah. But
I have a talking point
nuts.
Too with, real quick. And a lot of people don't know also, it's not so much on mid-range drivers and mid-bass, but especially subwoofers. It also is easier for manufacturer to get more, I guess, or less variance in the motor strengths across the field with doing Neo motors because they already magnetized with subwoofers. You can actually see a huge variance in the motor strength of depending on what build system you're using. If you see the strength of a magnet motor, because they assemble these subs within like they're not polarized already. It goes into a machine, like dunk, and it magnetizes the motor. Believe it or not, a lot of subwoofers out there are actually not at the full strength that and there's been videos on this stuff before. But most of the time, it's with a Chinese facility that is profit oriented more than not. They don't want to take the time to hit the button twice and stuff like that. It just goes down to that, and then so I guess also you get less variance of,
quality control. It's a thing.
Yeah. Yep, 100%. It comes down to, it's kind of like the where do the best amplifiers come from debate.
Yes.
When you talk about that, Korea, it has to be an SNI or it has to be a Xenon. It has to be whichever factory has people that are awake doing things right.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And you just like you and I have experienced that also, and you fully can agree on this. What I get from a facility and what you get from a facility can be completely two different freaking things, and we went in on the same freaking link or advertisement or same product thing.
Yep.
And again, it goes down to even like amplifiers. Team Pi, a good example. Well, that price you see is like a base model amplifier with like a shitty protection circuit on it, no vibration protection, anything like that. By the time you get out the door, if you want like nice inputs, you want nice protection circuitry, freaking vibration protection, all that shit, you have an amplifier that's actually pretty fucking expensive to produce if you want nice surface mount components that are nice name brand and stuff like that. And then again, and then holding your build facility to an expectation of like, we're going to check these units. Because I can tell you from my experience also, you can have facilities that are shiesty and your prototype or sample units, stuff like that, can be really fucking nice. Then you get a batch or two and you start checking stuff and it's not the same quality. So again, it's always making sure that you have a good partner that you're working with. Just like I said, he has a good connection with them.
I feel like you could save a little bit of money too if you're not trying to use the equipment to its ultimate potential. If you're running it, you
have to build it too to be able to somebody to do that though, because they're going to do it if not.
I'm saying for like the professional to save some money. Say you don't want to buy JL or Kicker because of the quality components and great warranty. And that's why you see so many guys going for the cheaper alternatives, the Terror amps. The cheaper stuff and
PRV.
Right. And if you run it within reason, you can save some money, and there's obviously pros and cons, but man, that's why it's an option. But I hate to see beginners run a Terramp AK on their stock electrical and they're trying to get everything out of it, and then they're wondering why they're on their third one, and it's just, if they would have had something maybe higher quality, would have just wanted to protect and
guys like the guy will hit me up, hey man, how much is 5K? And I'll be, hey, this or whatever. Generally speaking, within a few going back and forth of a conversation, I can tell how confident somebody is, and if they know car audio enough to like understand electrical and stuff like that. Like again, if you say, hey, how much is this 5K? I'm like, hey, it's this price, whatever. Like, just curious, what's your electrical? They're like, I got one on. You're like, oh shit, I know this was going.
I got one on OFC.
Sure. Again, I'm not going to tell the guy no to selling an amplifier, but I'll definitely express to him like, hey man, by the way, and again, I'm not going to tell the guy no, and I'm not being rude about it whatsoever.
Scott's grilling his customers. He's like, listen, your electrical better be good.
The customer is like, hey man, you need to have expectations. This lithium battery and this and all that before you put this in your vehicle, or it's a warranty claim. And again, like if it's misused, it's not covered. And again, it saved my butt a couple times already. And you don't even have to be rude to the customer. Like I said, you just go, hey man, you actually need to have this, and this before you install this. And then B, I had a guy stole a 5K too. I had the conversation with him like, hey man, your vehicle doesn't have the electrical support 5K. Hits me up like 2 months later, hey bro, I need to warranty this 5K. And I was like, let me guess, you put it in. I was like, yeah, and went back and actually like forwarded his text message of like, remember this when we had this conversation, and but like, hey, and I still took care of the customer. I actually still warranted the amplifier, but I was like, hey, just say, but he ended up buying a battery and coming back and doing all that stuff. And I was like, here, use this as your learning example. I'm going to do it this one time, but again, this is why you need these things. And then obviously, luckily, he made the investment into it from there. But you got to be straightforward with people, dude, because they're going to buy it and expect you to keep swapping that thing out when they don't have the stuff to support it.
Yeah.
Damn.
But sometimes they go.
Good luck on running businesses, guys. I don't want to deal with it.
But don't get me wrong. Some of those guys go, F you, buddy. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They don't buy an amp from me. But it's almost like, no, am I missing out not having that customer? Probably not for long, because I see that being a shipment I have to take next week.
Yeah.
Anyone that works in any sort of retail, we all have stories of, is this person even seriously a human being? Because it's just there's nothing up there.
They just want to bang, bro. They just want to bang. I get it. I get it. You know.
Going back to, we were talking about like upgrade paths though, like you were saying how they started out with DSA and Terra and stuff like that. The more times than not, it just like we were going about the upgrades before, like some guys, and I'm happy for them. And don't get me wrong, I'm being dead serious. And I even said when people post stuff like that, if you buy a Star product and like that fits all of your needs and you don't want to upgrade and all that stuff, I'm happy for you. You have good luck with it. That's fucking great, dude. But the guy that ends up liking audio wants to get into it, he ends up buying, again, upgrade. I'm guilty of it as well. I did fucking 20 upgrades the first year I got back into car audio, and I could have just bought a wall with the money I invested with that to begin with.
I don't want to think about it, but yeah.
You saw how many changes my truck went through in the year and a half.
Yeah, I've seen like 5 different full builds, and
that sucks.
You've had,
and it's just like money just thrown in the trash can every time.
Yeah, well, I
thought I was going to be done at a 150. That was a fucking lie.
I just watch everyone else, and then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that now. I take small steps at a time, man.
I got back into it and tried to just, I just want this 15, and
that's how it starts. 15
turned into an 18, and then it turned into an 18 wall, and then it turned into an upgraded 18 wall on a 7K. And then
how'd you like your 18 on a wall by itself? I was thinking of that before, but I'm like, I don't know. I need a lot of power.
The way it was built, single 18, it actually started off, I liked it best with the SSA Zcon 18 on it was a Loudforce 7500.
Shoo.
And it was just flat wall, and my trim panels had 2 8s and 2 horns in each of these trim panels, and then some mid bass down at the bottom, and then I had speakers in the doors and whatever else. With both my windows down, meter at the headrest, I could meter a 150 on music.
Oh wow!
Nice.
And
nice.
That I love, and that was at 34 hertz. So
nice.
It was everything I wanted it to be. It just wasn't enough.
Yeah, never is.
Which is why I bought the 4 Sundown X12s and was gonna do 412s instead.
That's what mine was.
Yeah,
but
I was just wondering on a single 18 wall. I wound up just using my entire car. It practically is a wall. I don't know if Scott's ever showed you, but yeah, it did a 50.3 at 32, but I'm only clamping 1800 watts, and I knew I didn't have much power, and if I would have done a wall, I think that score would have been a little bit lower, just because of just no acoustical gain. You need some juice behind it, because you were probably clamping like 3-4K easy on that 7K.
Easily, definitely. Yeah. Which I didn't really have the I had like a 48 amp hour headway bank that I built.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good. Seeing 11s.
Well, if I wanted to see 9, I could, but I kept it in the 12s. I did.
About the Trinity amps now, because again, they're already down about 9 volts or whatever. I was giving somebody a demo 11.8 volts, and are you dimming on the monitor? I was like, dude, it says it's good at 9. I don't give a fuck.
Yep, they don't shut off till 6.5.
I'll play that fucking I'll play that shit till it cuts off every time.
My engine's shutting down before my amp.
Yeah, mine was bad though. I went 112, 2 12s, 3 12s, 4 10s, 1 18, a better 18, 2 15s, 4 15s, and then a wall. Yeah, then I changed subs twice.
Yeah.
Here we are now.
Yeah, it never ends.
Alan, I just want to say thanks for joining us tonight, man. And
Andy's got to wrap up. He's got an after show, guys. Make sure you're catching Andy's after show.
Always.
Again, Alan, I appreciate you, homie. Seriously, thank you for coming on and spending an hour. It went by quick with him. It was a good episode.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And to everyone that stopped by for episode 69, right?
Hell yeah, 69.
Nice.
Hell of a number.
Nice. I appreciate being here for that. Right up my alley. But yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely, man.
Everyone have a good night, fellas. Everyone have a good weekend. No drinking and driving. I appreciate you guys.